So the Knicks get humbled by the Miami Heat as they lose a tough one down in South Beach. Man, it was a nice showing from Jalen Brunson, but why didn't anyone else show up? We're going to get to that. Also, rumor has it, or allegedly, Coach Tibbs is upset and felt betrayed by the Knicks. What say you? We're going to get to that in a second as well. Mitch, he's definitely mission in action. We'll touch on that. When will he be back? Hopefully he's all right. Also, we got Smoke of the Week this week, y'all. We got Word on the Street, Comment of the Week, and much more on This Week Inside the Knicks. Welcome to the show. I am your host, Koron Pierre, the Objective Fan, and I'm straight out of Kings County, New York City's finest, and you know the vibes, man. So this is episode 1 of the 2025-26 season, man. I'm excited. Hopefully you guys are excited. And yeah, man, we got a very, very powerful show. But before I get started, I do have to bring in my co-host, Mellow Mike, 5-star Knicks, man. Welcome into the house, man.
What's up, Koron? How are you, buddy?
I'm doing good, man. I didn't want to keep you waiting for too long, but I do want to let the people know that Tuesday, we will be doing the post-game show. I believe that's right after the Milwaukee Bucks game. So be here or be square. And of course, Friday, we have the call-up show. And, you know, definitely check out that 82 Nights. We'll get to that in a second. But Mellow Mike, how are you feeling, brother? It's great to see you, man.
I'm doing good. I'm doing good, Koron. Thanks for asking, brother.
No doubt, no doubt. Even though, you know, we had to deal with a crazy loss from those guys in South Beach, but nonetheless, still a good week. I mean, we went 2-1. We beat the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Boston Celtics, two of our most dislikable rivals, before losing to the Heat. And I thought that these guys showed some good things, but even in those games, I gave pause for concern, like, hey, there's some things we got to work out. And it showed tonight, you know, and we'll get to that Miami game. But before we crack this off, I mean, if you're new to the podcast, this podcast is dedicated to documenting the Knicks 365, 7 days a week. If you give me 50 minutes, I give you the Knicks, and this is for Knicks fans in the hurry. Also, you will be able to listen to this podcast on all the platforms. We are everywhere. Spotify, anywhere there's a podcast. I mean, certain platforms I never even heard of before, we're on there. So make sure you give us a 5 stars. And if you're here on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, like button. And if you are a subscriber, always consider joining the channel. All right? So I guess we'll get started, Mellow, with some special highlights. A couple of things that we got to talk about. By the way, if you are new to the blog, this podcast is associated with a blog called This Week Inside the Knicks. And you can go to thisweekinsidetheknicks.com. If you're on YouTube, you can see the URL that's right below us. When you get there, all you have to do is click on the 2025-26 season, or simply scroll down and click on episode 1. All right. And all of the news that we're talking about, if there's things that we may not cover or things that you feel like you may have missed, you can go there and find all the news, right? So I do want to start this by touching on Josh Hart. He and his wife, they left a message. They did an interview and they were giving advice to married couples, and they shared the secrets to a strong marriage. Salute to Josh Hart and his lady for, giving out tips. Hey, a lot of people out here could use some love advice, right? You know, a lot of people out here having some difficulties. So, salute to Josh Hart for doing that. I think it's a great look. Did you get a chance to check that out, Mellow Mike?
No, I didn't get a chance to check that out. No, I didn't.
Okay. I know you're not married, so you're like, this doesn't apply to you. So we'll just move on. But I want to give Josh Hart a big time salute, man. Also, Earl Monroe, the Knicks legend, who I guess his school is now tied to Julius Randle, and Tibbs, they gave a speech right before he was traded. You guys remember that clip from that school? Well, the NYC school named after Knicks legend Earl Monroe makes a splash as its first ever hoops-themed charter. And so the Earl Monroe New Renaissance Basketball Charter School, named after the Hall of Famer and Knicks champion Earl Monroe. So all 89 students in his first graduating class in June. And they end up enrolling in college. So big time salute to my man Earl the Pearl, legendary. Got to give him a salute. As we do on this podcast, you know, once a Knick, always a Knick. Whether you was with the Knicks back in the 70s or you was with the Knicks 2 days ago and got cut, we gonna show you the love, right? In every time. So now I guess we'll move on to the next part of the show, which would be some stories of the week. Now, once again, y'all, there's a lot of stories this week. I mean, it's the first week of the season, right? So we're not going to get into everything. I'm going to go over some things in the rundown, but there are a couple of things that we definitely have to talk about, right? Mm-hmm. And no worries. We'll get to that Knicks Miami game if you're curious to know what our breakdown is for that. But there's some things on the way we got to get to. So Mellow Mike, Karl-Anthony Towns, you know, he was interviewed after a practice right before the season started, and he was quoted to say he doesn't know what his role is with the Knicks, or he was unsure. What was your first impressions about Melo, that interview, that clip, his tone? Anything you noticed?
To be honest with you, the first thing I noticed was his body language. His body language and his answering was pretty much a very low energy type of response, where I felt like he was a little bit of disconnect with him and the coach, not very happy with the position that he's assigned to do, being that it is a very tough assignment that he has to take on, learning a lot of the positions, being the center according to the program that Mike Brown has for this team. So obviously, in comparison to maybe these other coaches that he had with Thibodeau and in Minnesota, was maybe a little bit more flexible, where he could do a little bit more what he wanted to do. This is a little bit different, so he has to do a lot more and pay attention a lot more. So yeah.
Right. And you know what? Just to add too, he said, honestly, I don't know, but we're figuring it out. It's just different. And so I feel like he may have dropped that last line there to kind of soften the message, because a lot of us was like, yo, what's this? But of course, you know, I'm the objective fan, so I'm never going to overreact, right? I'm never going to overreact. I thought that it would possibly just be frustration. He is, like you said, learning two positions, right? Essentially, we have 1 through 4 and then the center spot. So he has to learn all 5 positions, essentially. And it's very frustrating. Now, there are some things tonight, we'll get to it in the Miami Heat game, where he was positioned at the power forward spot. And I felt like there was a change there, even though tonight we lost. But, you know, I feel like people were making this a bigger deal because, I mean, you know, the season didn't start yet, right? And I feel like this narrative went away with the first 2 wins because Towns played well, especially in that last game against the Celtics. So much ado about nothing. I mean, it is what it is. Towns is going to be fine. Right. And I seen some flashes tonight. Like I said, we'll get to that in a second. I'm going to move on. So another very spicy topic, Mellow Mike. Very spicy topic. So we know that Coach Tibbs, he went to the Boston Celtics. And I actually did a short clip on this. And he went and allegedly shared some secrets from the Knicks. And then Mikal Bridges, you know, he responded. And basically what he said was something that I think that most of us, at least hardcore Knicks fans, thought. He said that, well, hold on. Jaylen Brown, before I get to that, Jaylen Brown, he said that Thibodeau explained some things that he saw that helped the Knicks beat us, right? And so what happened on Friday? Clearly, it wasn't enough to help you in that game. But nonetheless, Mikal Bridges said that he has no issues with it at all. That was it. Simple and plain. It is what it is. Like, he's disgruntled. And I'm going to get to that because I'm going to pull that alleged quote up next. But the man is he's free to do whatever he wants, right? He's not under contract with the Knicks. If he wants to go on an op tour he has the right to do it. As long as he doesn't speak against the Knicks, you can't stop him. So why are we making it a big deal? What say you? What was your thoughts on the Mikal Bridges? I think you saw the clip I did with Mikal responding. What's your thoughts on this whole Tibbs thing anyway?
Me personally, look, Mikal just said the right things. I think he just wants to put the past in the past and bury the hatchet with that. It's a new opportunity, new chapter for him to kind of restart, his career, being that he struggled so much last season. And this is such a big season for Mikal Bridges because you know what? He felt the heat through the whole season until the playoffs came with his miraculous defense, especially against the Boston series, which kind of turned around from the fans kind of, going at him now, supporting him. And you know what? We ended up coming up short in the Eastern Conference Finals. But his comments was pretty much just to put it to rest and put it to peace.
Right.
As far as Thibodeau's concerned, to be honest with you, not so happy. You got $30 million. I'd figured he'd go fishing, do something, go on vacation, settle down. and I think if he would have let a year go by, I wouldn't have had a problem him visiting, whatever team he felt comfortable with. But
right.
With that being said, it almost feels like there's bitterness in Thibodeau's, a character as far as him going out there, especially to the teams that are, in our conference, which is the Boston Celtics. I mean, that is definitely one of our nemesis. Also visiting Minnesota, with, what is it, Julius Randle and Dante out there.
Dante, yeah, that picture. Yeah. Oh, boy, I got a nice unfiltered thought. If you're a channel member, go watch that unfiltered thought where I talked about, if not Tibbs, then who? Yeah. We just leave it there. Go ahead.
So it just felt like they set it up to take pictures, to be ready for the moment. Like they know, like Thibodeau knows that this was going to go viral. It was going to get back to New York. So with that being said, you know what? I know for a fact that, Mike Brown's got a whole different mindset as far as his approach with coaching. I don't really feel that his influence as far as Thibodeau with Boston was going to change anything anyway. Not because of what I saw, the last game, but it's a whole different team, with what they have, who they lost to. Tatum's not even playing. And to be honest with you, the Knicks are just a better team. So I'll leave it at that. Yeah.
100%. And then, so this is the article as you did your perfect segue. Your take was a perfect segue to Tom Thibodeau reportedly had felt a sense of betrayal after being fired by the Knicks. And so speaking to Ian O'Connor of The Athletic, a source close to Thibodeau said, but he also had a sense of betrayal when you find out that people you helped weren't even there in the end or didn't fight for you like you fought for them. And that stings. So this is allegedly, right, what Ian O'Connor said that a source close to Thibodeau said to him. So because of this, I get a message from the OG Knick fan who is my dad. Salute to my pops. Hold on, I got to give him a New York City salute. Right? He called me the day before. I pretty much gave him the whole breakdown of my unfiltered thought, which it says, if not Tibbs, then who, right? He goes, there's no way Tibbs would be like that. He's not a petty guy. Literally, the next day, he stumbles across this article that I have on the screen, and he goes, yo, son, you were right. I'm like, yeah, I listen, living life as long as I lived, I learned a lot being around people, right? It's always the one that's closest to you that can do you the most harm. Yeah. Do remember that. It's always the one closest to you. It's never just the enemy from across the way, right? It's always that one person nearby. So, hey, when somebody's disgruntled and they're feeling some type of way, you can't tell them how to respond, or you can't even you walk into their shoes because you just can't see it from their perspective, right? We're Knicks fans especially, so we don't really care about his bitterness and how he feels. But yeah, just to add to your take really quick, I did want to make sure I highlighted the betrayal, the so-called betrayal. But we can move on, man. Good stuff. Definitely hit that like button, man. So let's talk about Mitchell Robinson, man. So Mitchell Robinson, right? The mystery disappearance on opening night. When I first saw the report saying that Mitchell Robinson would not play, I'm like, wait a minute. He didn't hurt himself in Abu Dhabi. What's going on here? I watched the game. He looked good to me. He didn't play, the second half or maybe even the second quarter of that second game. I don't really remember, but I know he didn't play a lot of minutes, but I didn't see him limp off the floor, right? So why now, when the games are for real, and then going up against the dislikable rival, the Cleveland Cavaliers, where we needed size, that would be the
Absolutely.
game you would play, right?
Absolutely.
So what do you think is going on with Mitch with the injury mystery?
Well, I'm just like everybody else. I don't know, but obviously there's something marinating behind the scenes. So, they're saying it's load management. People on the outside are saying, listen, we want to know what it is that's leading up to load management, right? We want to get down to the details.
Exactly.
But
Yes.
unfortunately, we have a lot of frustrated people in the media trying to dig just like you are, and we as well here, just trying to find out what's going on. But unfortunately, there's a wall that, we can't penetrate and everybody's hush hush. But I did mention this to you before. There's a lot of teams that are doing this, to be honest with you. It's not just the Knicks. But being that we are talking about Knicks basketball and this,
Right.
topic of discussion, it's one or two things. There's something in the works, or it's really nothing big to worry about, and he'll be back soon, ready to go. Only time will tell as far as what this matter is concerned. Because if he does come back and they are managing his injury of whatever it is, I think it's his ankle, correct? I think.
But yeah, that was the ankle. Yep, he had surgery
Okay.
on his surgically
So
repaired ankle.
so maybe he just needs time off. Maybe he, might have tweaked it, but they're not being clear. You're right. They should report it. They should be honest and clear for those that are wanting to get out the news, out there to the fans, to the fan base and stuff
Right.
like that. But obviously they're not doing it. And unfortunately, according to some of the things that I've been reading, just a lot of teams are just doing that as well. But if they are doing it for the wrong reasons, then again, time will tell because people are nosy, right? People are going to find out. Listen,
Right.
what are you doing? As far as maybe let's say behind the scenes they do want to trade him, right? Which I hope they don't do. But if they happen to do so, that's one of the things that's going to come up is medical history,
Right.
right? The
Right.
medical is being healthy is one of the is your really your stock. If you're not healthy, nobody's going to want you, no matter what stats you put up there. But if you're healthy and you're valuable to a team, then okay, we'll consider it. Yeah,
Right. But that's my concern, and I know we got to move, but 17 games, 31 games. Right. He hasn't played. He hasn't reached the 50 game mark in through 2 years. At this rate, he won't get there this year as well. There's a lot of reasons why, good reasons why I could see why fans are concerned, because we see his value in the limited time that he's there, but he's not there when we need him. So
absolutely.
hopefully, he's all right, because health is wealth. And, we don't wish ill health for no one. But I need to see you on the floor, brother. You're not good to me on the bench, man. But I'm gonna get to the rundown, man. So the Knicks rundown is just basically news that we're not going to talk about, but all of the news that I'm going to read off is on This Week Inside the Knicks. If you click on episode 1, so Brunson and Towns, right? They are not concerned with any of your expectations. They're shutting down the hype. They don't care about what you got to say. They're self-motivated. Andrew Cuomo and Mayor Adams was at the last Knick game for my political people. They're making an appearance because allegedly or apparently Adams is endorsing Cuomo. Josh Hart returned to the lineup and had a monster game. He had 14 rebounds against the Boston Celtics. OG only had cramps. I didn't realize it in real time because, it's unfortunate that not unfortunate, but I prepared for these shows. So there was no way for me to get the update on that. So I just went right into the show thinking that he might have been hurt. They told me no, it was just cramps. And then Mike
Okay.
Brown says he goes with his gut. He goes with his gut when he's making the decision as to who to start. Kind of backfired on us today with the Miami Heat. Well, we'll get to that in a second, man. And the Knicks also, and then I'm going to ask you this, even though this is a rundown, the Westchester Knicks drafted Jamal Mashburn Jr. So I thought that was interesting. Any thoughts on that? I know you're the Westchester Knick guy.
Yeah, I haven't dug too much into it, but I definitely got to follow up with that as far as with
Okay.
Westchester. So, and once the
No
season
problem.
starts, I'll definitely get some more information on the guys here at Westchester. Once I
Yeah.
get settled in, definitely. But I will
No
follow up
problem.
with that, no doubt.
And then, so as far as the New York report, nothing really else going in the other sports, especially for New York City. we already know that the Yankees, the Mets, the Liberty, they all cooked. So there's no reason to even waste our breaths on them. The New York Giants got cooked again by the Eagles. But the Jets did get a win, man. Hey, I said that I wasn't going to talk about the New York Jets again until they got a win. New York City salutes for the Jets. They were down 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. I just seen the score because I wasn't watching them. And then they won the game. So I got to give them a salute. And also, I do want to say R.I.P. to Nick Manigold, the Jets center. He passed away. It was announced that he passed away, age 41. If you're a Jet fan, you know who he is. He was the rock at the center spot for many years. And, condolences to the family, 100%.
Definitely. Condolences to the family. Absolutely.
100%. So that's the New York report. I mean, and then the Rangers, I mean, they're struggling. They're under 500. Sorry. Now, I do got a question. You see how I do the New York report? Clearly, I leave teams out. And there's 2 teams that I leave out. The Brooklyn Nets. I feel like there's no reason to mention them, but the Buffalo Bills. Now, there are some Bill fans that be getting on me because I always leave them out. As a longtime Jet fan, I just hate them. Am I wrong for doing that? What say you? Am I wrong? Should I include them into the New York report?
I don't get involved with the Bills, so I'm a New York Giants fans, and as far as our neighbors with the New York Jets, I respect them. They're New York, so but I'm a Giants fan at heart. If the Jets happen to move ahead more than listen, I know the history. I go back with Ken O'Brien, Al Toon, Wesley Walker, them guys with the Jets. So
salute.
Yeah, those guys, Gastro and Joe Klecko and so forth and so forth.
There you go. So okay. As long as I don't mind getting the evil eye from you, Mike, I'm good. By the way, I forgot to announce this in the beginning. Thank God for my notes. But we've officially reached 300,000 views on the channel.
Oh, nice. There you
300. Go. I got the email this morning. They said, yo, you got 300,000 views. I said, wait a minute, I do? So salute to you guys. Thank you guys for watching and helping us get to this plateau. And it's a beautiful place to be at, man. I'm really happy and really grateful that 300,000 eyes saw me on this platform. It's amazing, right?
Yeah.
So thank you, Mike. I appreciate it.
I just want to make a note real quick. Sorry, did you mention about the injury to a New York Giants running back? I forgot to say his last name. I don't want to. Scatabo.
Oh no, I didn't. Yes, we were talking about that on the Discord. Yeah, go ahead. I mean, it's
you might know a little bit more about it. I just saw when Dart's reaction and while he was getting. I didn't even see the play.
I didn't watch the game at all.
Okay,
but they were talking about it in the Discord how the tush push should be illegal and all these things. It was something with a tush push. I didn't see it personally, but I just seen the box score. So, but yeah, definitely prayers up to him. Hopefully, it's not nothing that's career ending. He may be out for a while, but
yeah, he's a tough player. The kid's a tough player, and obviously him and Dart definitely making their mark with the New York Giants and the fan base as well. He seemed to capture the hearts, and remember he made a appearance on the Boston Celtics, the game with the Knicks and Celtics, the running back for the Giants. Yeah, he was there.
Back for the damn.
And the fans were definitely, man. Up and applauding him. So yeah.
Thank you for that, Mike. I forgot to add that. I appreciate that. Because we did talk about it in the Discord. It was pretty sad. Pretty sad. So real quickly, guys, this is for Knicks fans in a hurry. We're giving you all the news. 50 minutes. You give me the Knicks. That's what I'm doing. And once again, we're talking about the time period between the 20th to the 26th. Anything that we don't talk about that happened, if you want to look back at it and see it, you can see it there on the website, thisweekinsidethenix.com. Everything is divided into categories. So you'll be able to find things quickly, like all of the news that's related to the Celtics game or the Cavs game. We're not going to talk about it now because we did post-game shows talking about it. Also, I write game reviews as well after each game. So I got to do that right after I get off this podcast tonight for this Miami debacle. And so you could go there, be able to go read the reviews, see what my 4 notables is, and go from there. So we're not going to talk about those games. We're going to move on to some of the smoking hot topics, okay? Now, there's a lot of smoking hot topics. We're only going to go over a couple because you got to go, I got to go, and Mike got to go, right? So, and then we're going to get to that Heat game in a second. But I do want to start with I guess we could do some positive stuff, make the Knicks fans feel a little good even after a bad loss. But and you know what? The loss to me, honestly, I think it was needed. And we'll get to it, but I think the loss was needed. I think a lot of you guys were just, oh, Knicks everywhere, every day. And sometimes you need the loss to bring you down. But the Knicks could have their best team in 25 years. I think that, honestly, if this goes the way it should go, like if we could erase what we seen with this Miami game out of our heads, this team might be the best team since that 94 team that went to the finals. Or even that 93 team. I think it was the 93 team, or was it the 92? The 93 team that had 60 wins.
Yeah, 93, 94, yeah.
So I think if we're talking, I think we can go back 30. Now, salute to, Camby and Spreewell and Houston and those guys. But when it came to the regular season, they weren't dominant, right? We have a chance to really be dominant, first seed, second seed. Remember, they went to the playoffs as an A seed, came back the following year. Ewing wasn't the same. It wasn't really the same energy. I think more like 30 years. What say you? How good this team could be when you compare this to the teams in the past 30 years?
That's very difficult because you know what? We're talking about two different coaches. Mike Brown, listen, he wasn't on top of my list. I've said this before with Sam Cassell or Mark Jackson. Mark Jackson first. Let me get that straight. Mark Jackson was my first choice, and then Sam Cassell. What happened in 93, 94? And I believe in 99, we had a different type of coach with a lot of cachet. That was Pat Riley. That was the big dog. So Mike Brown is still trying to make his mark. Remember when he was coaching the Lakers, he had already won a lot of championships. He was in those battles. He knew how to handle pressure. He knew how to handle the media. All he did was just bring that over to New York, 3,000 miles away from LA to come to New York City and, make his mark. And he knew, how valuable he was, not just to the Knicks, but to the organization as well. And there's different expectations. You can't compare the two, to be honest with you. Pat was at such a different level. Like I said, he was a big dog, with a lot of accolades already established, came through the rankings and played with a lot of great players, coached a lot of the great players, especially with those Lakers dynasty that was formed there. So that was huge.
And
Mike
look,
is coming. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. You're technically correct from resume perspective.
Yeah.
Mike Brown ain't got the resume Pat Riley got. That's not it.
Right.
Let's not even play. But if I had to be devil's advocate, Pat Riley had Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He had LeBron. Then he had Shaq, D-Wade. With Pat Riley, we seen when Pat Riley didn't have that talent, what he did. He did it with the Knicks. They didn't do nothing. We seen it in Miami before D-Wade got there. He didn't go to the promised land. So if you give Mike Brown the talent, or any coach for that matter, would they I'm not saying win the same amount of championships, but I'm going to keep it real. Coaching matters. It does. But having the stars matter more. So you could be the greatest coach in the world. If you don't got the star, you're not winning. Go ask Larry Brown how hard it was in Detroit. You know how hard it was for Detroit to win that championship? They're the only team going back to 1958 that won the championship without an MVP or All-NBA first team player. So you got to have those guys, right? Mike Brown, that's working against them right now. I love that. Listen, we love the Knicks, but
Absolutely.
We got to keep it real. We don't got it right now. Maybe Brunson can be it. I mean, he looked great. Did you see Jalen Brunson tonight? He looked
Absolutely.
fantastic. But at the same time, right now, we could only look at what we have, not what could be. But yeah, I just wanted to add that point. Just to say you're right. Pat Riley is way more accomplished. There's no debate. He's also a great coach. I would never take that away from Pat, even though he's the Heat and I don't like the Heat, but I'm the objective fan. I got to give him his props. But I'm just trying to show, like, Mike Brown took a Cavs team with just LeBron. 64 wins, 60, something Ty Lue didn't do with Kyrie and Kevin Love. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Just to be fair, we'll see what happens. Let's see. Time check. All right, I'm going to move on to the next topic. I don't think we're going to hit all these smoking hot topics. because I really want to keep this within the 50-minute mark. But there is one topic that we definitely have to talk about because a lot of people are definitely interested in what the hell is going on. And I was actually going to do a video on this, but I kind of stayed away. But Knicks season threatening Karl-Anthony Towns risk is absolutely baffling. You remember the quote from Towns where he said that he had a grade 2 quad sprain.
Yep.
Now, I did some research. As you guys know, I be doing the research with the injuries. I told y'all about Julius Randle. No, forget that. I told y'all about Jalen Brunson last year when they said he had the ankle injury. I said, hey, guys, he's going to be out weeks, not days. I told y'all that off rip, just based off the research that I did, right? So when I looked into the grade 2 quad strains, I'm telling you right now, you're supposed to miss like 4 to 6 weeks with no activity. Not working and doing what you're doing. You're supposed to be relaxing for 4 to 6 weeks. So when Towns gets on the mic and says he has a quad 2 sprain, whether he really has one or he does or not, either way, it's a concern. If he really does have a quad 2 sprain, what's going on with Casey Smith and those guys allowing him to play? You know, I'm thinking that it may not be as serious as the grade 2 quad sprain. What was your thoughts, though, Mike, on this quad sprain, Towns playing with it?
Well, Karan, I totally agree with what you're saying, absolutely, because taking some time to think about it and look at game 1 all the way to game 3, I didn't see the effects. I saw him kind of hinder, being kind of like lackluster in the first game, second game, getting a little bit better, didn't seem to bother him. In the third game, I didn't see anything.
Right.
So, to be honest with you, it looked like, he just played, missed, well, he didn't have a great game, let's put it that way, but it had nothing to do with physicality as far as him walking or running up and down the court. It was noticeable in game 1 and game 2, but I started realizing after game 1 and game 2 was a little bit less. The first one was for the fans. The second one, I guess, I don't know, maybe just trying to shake it off. And third one, I just didn't see nothing today. Absolutely.
I didn't see nothing either.
It looked normal to me.
He looked good. He blocked some shots. He was getting up. For sure, 100%. Yeah. So I'm like, But if it is a grade 2 quad sprain, Cat, give it a rest, man. Just relax. We need you, man. This is a long year. I'm gonna even add this to the fold right now. Just to go off the script a little bit. Josh Hart, he might need to just get his finger taken care of, man. This guy is scared to shoot. I know we're gonna get to the game, but it's like, bro, you getting open shots. The goal is paint and spray 3. It's not paint and spray, hesitate, pass it, or just drive it into traffic. It's paint and spray. We touch the paint. Here, Josh Hart, take the 3. He's scared to take the 3, man. I don't know, man. I love him, but yeah, I think, man, Hart might need to sit down somewhere, man. I don't know. It's scary. It's definitely scary. But we can move on. I guess we could get into what they all been waiting for. We could talk about this game. I mean, now before we continue the pod, I do have to put you on to 82 Nights, a basketball fan's companion. The first of its kind. Not only is it a stat tracker or journal, man, it is going to be your regular season guide. Throughout 82 games, you'll be able to keep notes, keep up to date with stats. Not only that, 10-game reviews, a fan engagement section to document your at the arena experience. Listen, go get yours now. The Stat Tracker bundle also gives you access to the 82 Nights Club, where you get access to some more stuff on the back office, like the Stat Tracker extended cheat code, which basically would be me giving you all the stats. All you have to do is fill it in. Be sure to pre-order your bundle now, exclusively on This Week Inside the Knicks.com. I'll put the box score on the screen. Honestly, man, this game was hard to watch because they couldn't hit a shot. And I'm like, oh my God. Honestly, I'm going to keep it real mellow. When I saw the first quarter, I had a feeling we were going to lose. I wish I would have put it in the Discord. Well, I hate to be doom and gloom. I don't want to say it like, oh man, I'm basking in it. But I just know what I'm watching, right? you're not going to always be able to get away with not hitting shots. I was hoping in the third quarter they could turn it up, but it still wasn't there. Right? They couldn't when Brunson came out the game, they couldn't good luck. There was no there was no scoring. When the game started, right? Some details I took note of here that the Miami Heat, they had the highest scoring offense, right? They led the league in scoring. They also was playing at the fastest pace, right? And their defense, is solid. When you look at their lineup, they don't have no weak links in defense, especially now that Tyler Hero's not there. All those guys are scrappy. And I'm like, this is going to be a tough one. On the road, this is their home opener. They hate you. Right? Don't forget that. Don't forget to add that part to it, right? Like people look at the Knicks, right? And if you're not a Knicks fan, you'll just look at the schedule and be like, oh, they're going to Charlotte. That's an easy game. It's never an easy game. Oh, Brooklyn might be easy. But the rest of the teams in the East, those games are always going to be tough games, especially in Miami. Even Indiana, I'm telling you, when we see Indiana the first time, they may not have nobody. They may not have Nembhard. They may not have none of those guys, but they going to fight. They're going to insert some dudes you never heard of before, and they're gonna give it a tough go. But when I seen that and I saw that, damn, we can't buy a bucket. Then I see Bam at the power forward spot. Something that I've been saying for years now that the Miami Heat need to do. He's not a 5. He is a way more effective power forward. He might be the second best power forward, definitely in the East, 100%. And so, those elements are there. I still think we have a way better team than Miami, but the fact that we're still not us, I knew it was going to be a tough game. What say you, hello, Mike?
Oh, I noticed it the same. I agree with you 100%. I saw that right from the get-go, and I remember talking about this over the call-in show on Friday. I think I
Right.
left off with saying that they're playing to the level of the competition. The Knicks are definitely their 5 is better than their starting 5. I don't care what anybody says. The Knicks should have smoked this team too as well. They played to their level. They ended up shooting. I don't know. It looked like a shooting practice, and it was poor. The Knicks shot 27%,
I got it right here. Yeah,
right?
27%.
27%. It was horrible. And the thing is, they kept shooting. They kept shooting. Look, we're not the Golden State Warriors, okay? And we're not the Orlando Magic. And this gives me flashbacks of the Orlando Magic, how their scheme was. But they had shooters. They had JJ Redick. They had, what was it, Turkoglu. They had some other guys there. With the Knicks, they're trying right from the get-go, they were going outside, then going in. It's supposed to be from the inside going out as far as
Right.
getting high percentage shots. They shot themselves out of the game. And then I
Right.
saw in the second quarter, to be honest with you, that's when I realized 1 or 2, maybe 3 max passes. They weren't running that offense. They were
No.
going back to their old ways. And we talked
Right.
about that in the call-in show. So, to
Mm-hmm.
be honest with you, I was very disappointed because the Knicks are far superior than the Miami Heat, but they didn't
100%.
bring their game. This wasn't about fatigue. This was about not executing the game plan. So,
Yeah.
you got veteran players. These guys are not rookies. They're veteran players. They know better. And I think there's a little bit of friction between what coach wants and what they want to do. They're still a little bit stuck on
Mm.
last season's mentality of going back to Jalen Brunson. And when I saw that, I saw the body language of Mr. Brunson in the fourth quarter. I believe he went in there. I forgot what
Mm-hmm.
minute it was. Was it 9 minutes?
The 9-minute
Nine
mark.
minute
I
mark,
think it
right?
was the 9.
And I saw him the way he walked to the scores table. I said, and as much as he kind of dibble dabble to make a shot here and there, he started throwing intercepting passes, to the other team. Guys couldn't make shots under the basket. Shots were coming up
Oh,
short. They were horrible. Momentum just took the air out of the ball, to be honest with you. So the spirit of the Knicks just kind of disappeared. I don't know what happened, but I can tell you something right now. They got to find a way to follow the game plan. And I like it better if they do that curl offense with Mikal Bridges, get high percentage shots, get warm quick instead of taking these long
yeah.
ball shots. And 1 or 2, maybe 3 max. These guys kept launching shots. To be honest with you, just kind of like it killed them. It didn't help them at all.
Yeah.
I get
Yeah.
it. He wants to raise up the shooting on the 3-pointers. I think he wants to average like 40-something shots,
40,
right?
yeah. 40,
These guys
43s,
shot
yeah.
54,
He
right?
shot 54.
And it felt like a
And you know,
video game
mhm.
that
Yeah,
felt, when you put a quarter, you get like 4 shots. No, they just kept gunning it. And I was
mhm.
like, what? I was like, you're
Nah,
definitely gonna
100%.
not win this game. So you kind of took the momentum, and I think that also killed the momentum for Clarkson. He got frustrated, right? And Karl-Anthony Towns was, I know that he put up 15 points and had strong 18 rebounds, but still 1 for 7 at one point. Come on, man. When do you get the message? Again, veteran players should know better. Let me take it inside. Let's get something inside instead of forcing the
Yeah,
issue. And that's what I saw. That
right.
was that was my take on that game, to be honest with you.
I think that you're 100% right. With the exception of we are a shooting team. That's the only thing I would probably tweak in the message. We got a lot of shooters. The issue is this. Mike Brown, like you said, your take is magic because you said they didn't even get it inside and get it out. They was just on the outside. Mike Brown doesn't mind the amount of threes, but you got to touch that paint. He always talks about paint, spray.
Yeah,
They was just coming up. So they definitely not following what Mike Brown's talking about.
yeah.
That's not what Mike Brown wants. Towns, Towns, you're the best shooting big man in NBA history. I give him that. There's no debate. But bro, you cannot just come. You gotta we gotta at least touch the paint. He just from the first, he had like 2 long threes to start the game. I said, yeah, it's gonna be a long night. Because while we know you can hit that shot, that's not the shot we really want nor need from you. Now, some technical things, right? I didn't mind it because I was trying to still be optimistic, though I know it looked bad. Them shooting all them threes the way they were shooting them.
Mhm.
But I do like Towns orchestrating dribble handoffs at the top of the key. Sorry about that. It's my alarm. I do like him orchestrating dribble handoffs at the top of the key more than I like Ariel and them other guys doing it. I call it the metal lock Leonard. What's that guy from the Globetrotter? I always mess the name up.
Yeah, metal
But
lock something. Yeah, I forgot.
yeah,
Yeah.
I like him. At the top of the key passing because I think he's a capable passer.
Yep.
And a couple of times, maybe not this game, but he was catching guys, driving to the basket and getting layups and things of that nature. So I did like that adjustment because I don't think that because you talked about the power forward spot. Him being in the corner, just on an island, I don't think that that's best. I'd rather him be at the top of the key, not necessarily just jacking up threes, right? And another thing too, though, he has to work on the fouls. You got to just set the screen, man. Like, why are we moving into the screen? I'm not a pro, and that's something that I know. When I set the screen, I don't move. It's like it's impossible for him to get it right, So these things are things that they're going to have to work on, especially if they want to be as great as they could be on the offensive end. Because tonight, if you look at it, it looks like, man, it just looked really bad. It looked really bad. But I will say this: I am happy that this happened because I feel like we need to be brought down to earth. We're not perfect, right? And I told you guys that this will be my laptop has so many notifications right now. But I told you that we are not going to be perfect, right? I said, we might start off 12-10 or 12-8, 13-7. It's not going to just be a 60 win. We start out 20-0, regular season champions. You know what I'm saying? We have a new coach and we have some new players and we got health issues now, right? Mitchell Robinson hasn't made an appearance yet. Deuce McBride had personal issues. Hopefully everything is okay with him, right? Guys in and out of the lineup. We still hadn't seen a healthy team yet where everyone's there. So there's some cause to pause. What say you on that? What's the message Knicks fans should get from this game?
I don't know. I just feel there's some internal disconnect there. I don't know what it is. And I think the Knicks between coach and players, because I remember that just came to mind while you were just talking when Chris Gent was talking to the players and Mike Brown was on the side, I guess strategizing something because he's obviously an offensive coach, right? And I felt like they went on the court and just did whatever they wanted to do. They went back to the old way. And I told you this on the call-in show, the dribble, going back to Brunson. This is not the game plan. Forget about the shooting of the threes. It's just about executing. And I told you this before also. Listen, you don't have to go max speed. If you just run it, there's guys that are open, but they're being stagnant. They're not coming where there's a gap between two players. If a guy penetrates, I feel like guys weren't participating in executing to make the play happen, if you get what I'm saying. So
Right.
whatever is going on, I don't know. But obviously they're not running the way it's supposed to be run. And with that being said, I'm gonna take a high percentage shot. I'm gonna take the layup over the three anytime. Did it ever cross
Oh,
their mind to
yes.
do so? That is the question. Did it ever cross their mind to do so? Because that is pretty much common sense. And I don't. And again, we're not talking about rookies on the floor. These are veterans. You telling me
Veterans.
that our captain or even Kolek or anybody coming in there and saying, you know what? Listen, we're gonna look for you. Get ready. We're gonna fake the three, get it inside, create fouls. Get you on a free throw line. They actually shot
Right.
what, a 76% for the free throw. My goal is 80 for the team. But hey, listen, every point counts. They could have created some fouls, but I just feel like they fell into the trap of playing Miami Heat basketball. They played to the level. They went from great to so. Now they just play poorly. So that's what I
Yeah.
see as far as this trend. Great
Right.
start, but I saw it on that second game, and I told you this. They're
Hmm.
better than 10 points, right? They're better than
Yeah.
a 10-point victory over the Cavs. And look at this
Hmm.
type of game they just displayed against the Miami Heat. You can't tell me that this team is better than the Knicks. They're not. They're not.
No. No. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I think that we dropped the ball on the opportunity to really assert dominance, but it's okay because I think fans now could see where we are. We're a work in progress. We're good. We're not bad.
Mhm.
We still might go to the finals. We still probably, set to do that, but you're going to have to work to get there. No one is giving you nothing, especially in the Eastern Conference. Every single team don't like you. They think that you think you're too good. And this is an opportunity for us to really be humble, and unfortunately it had to be the Miami Heat to get us there, but we are a work in progress, man. And yeah, I think we pretty much nailed it, man. I think we look forward to Milwaukee. Now, Giannis is playing incredible basketball. He's looking like an MVP candidate. That's going to
Like
be
he
another
should.
tough game.
Like he
Like he
should.
should. Like he should. He know auditioning for the Knicks. That's a whole nother topic. But I hope you
Absolutely.
guys now see, like, hey, if Giannis is saying he wants to come, yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that, hey, we're good. It's okay. One bad game. I'm not just saying it because we lost. Guys, I got millions of videos on this channel. I just discovered I listened to a podcast from last year and I was talking about Giannis. I was talking about a Giannis trade last year, the same time frame we are now. So, I always wanted Giannis and he's playing phenomenal. So we'll see what happens. But we're not there yet. We're getting there. Work in progress. All right. So I guess now we could get into the smoke of the week. Okay. So I'll jump out of research mode for this one. The guys who were formerly on TNT have now moved on to ESPN. So as they do every year when the season starts, they make their picks. Who's coming out the West? Who's coming out the East? Now, everybody's on the Knicks train this year. Let me get my soundboard. Everybody's on the Knicks train this year. Salute to everybody. Bigging up the Knicks. Oh, the Knicks are coming out the East. Everybody say it. Like 90% of people on media are picking the Knicks to come out the East. And it's a beautiful thing because, we was in the doldrums for years. Laughing stock. If you say, like, if we get into a conversation, yeah, man, the Knicks, we good enough to get to the finals. They laugh at us. The Knicks, right? Now, mostly everybody's picking the Knicks to come out of the finals, right? So Kenny Smith, Charles Barkley, Ernie, and Shaq, they're having the same conversation. They always do. And Charles Barkley, I might even give Charles Barkley a salute because he's on the Knicks bandwagon now, right?
Absolutely.
According to Charles Barkley, the Knicks, we coming out the East, right? We coming out the East. Everybody banged up. Everybody hurt. They're the pick, right? I think it's a common sense pick. I'm not saying you have to agree with it, but I'm just saying if you are saying that, you got some sense. because none of the other teams in the East have any success in the playoffs. Cavaliers, what have they done? The Orlando Magic haven't been out of the first round since the 90s. I don't know if that's true, but I'm just saying it's been a minute, probably since Dwight was there, but nonetheless, it's been a minute since they left the first round, right? And then Indiana, you see what, they're pretty much blown up. Boston, we see 0-3, right? Atlanta, they went to the Western Conference Finals. The Eastern Conference Finals like a couple of years back, but they don't got the same team that was there. They got a bunch of young pups. So our competition are a bunch of guys that are not proven, right? So, and then of course Kenny picks the Knicks to come out the East. Now Shaq, and salute to Jersey. I know he's from Jersey. Salute to Mellow Mike. I know Jersey, but I'm glad I got a Jersey guy here because is it true that there's some people from Jersey that don't like New York?
What do you mean, the New York Knicks?
No, New York City.
Oh, New York City.
They think like New York people are too cocky. They too arrogant. I don't like New York like that. They always think, have you ran across that?
I've come across people that feel that way, that they feel like New Jersey is treated like the step brother.
Right. Right. First off,
we were literally across the bridge, right? And a lot of us, commute to New York too on a regular.
Let me tell you something. Mike, let me tell you something. For me personally, Jersey has always been like the sixth borough. I always look at Jersey like y'all family, y'all peoples. I never ever looked down on Jersey people in life. It just never came across. I had family in Jersey. I used to be in the music industry. I used to be in Jersey doing shit. Like I used to always be in Jersey. Like Jersey is cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I get it though, because there are New Yorkers that are really like stuck up and they think that they're better than everybody else. But the reason why I bring that up is because I feel that Shaq. I feel like Shaq is a Jersey dude that don't like New York because every time, like literally, you never in life will see Shaq. And I forgot to do my dog growl. Hold on. Dog growl. You never in life will see Shaq pick the Knicks for anything. There was a Knick game on TNT. Shaq picks the Nets. Shaq picks the last year, because this is like Shaq's like fourth time being in the smoke of the week, right? I've been on his head so last year, right? He goes, the Knicks are the second best team in the East. And if it wasn't last year, it was the year before last year. Nonetheless, around that time, the same point. It doesn't matter what year it was. The Knicks are the second best team in the East, but they will lose in the first round to the Magic. He will never pick the Knicks. He will never. I'm telling you, he would never do it. So when they're saying the Knicks, he's like, no, Cleveland. So I'm like, in my mind, ain't you a Magic? This would be the year I would say the Magic, because the Magic got a really good team. Right. Like if I was on the Magic train, I would be like, yo, my pick is the Orlando Magic. But him not doing that is showing me he just want to be counter to the Knicks. What's your thoughts on that?
You know what? I didn't pay too much attention to it because I felt like, the Knicks are not going to really do it, blah, blah, blah. But this year, it should be the year that he would pick the Knicks and, be a straight flush with the whole cast there on ESPN, right? But I do remember when he was on TNT, he admitted he looked up to Patrick Ewing. He was a New York Knick. Was he just separating himself as just Patrick Ewing? But he said, matter of fact, he shed a tear on TNT. And he was like, stop it. Because you crying for Patrick Ewing? I remember that.
I have a theory, really, really quickly. I have a theory. The reason why he could hate the Knicks, it could be for his love of Ewing, because we traded Ewing.
Yes.
We traded Ewing, and a lot of people, I was there. I was like, yo, because remember, I was a delusional Knicks fan in the late 90s, well, the early 90s and late 90s and early 2000s. Well, not early 2000s, because they were pretty bad, but I was a delusional Knicks fan during that period of time. So in my mind, I was like, yo, why are we giving up Ewing? He's the greatest ever. Why are we doing this? So I get that. But I didn't hate the Knicks for it.
Correct.
Like I get the logic. But me as a Knicks fan, right now, as a defender of the Knicks, first off, salute to everybody who holds down the Knicks every day. You're not going to say nothing foolish to me about the Knicks, especially when it don't make no damn sense. At least make sense with the take. I can
Right.
give you credit for that, but I'm still not going for it. You come for my Knicks, I come for you. But that's a good point. I did hear about the Ewing fandom, right?
Yeah,
And
that's
then,
what
there was a rumor.
Yeah,
There
that's
was a
what led me.
rumor that
I'm sorry, go ahead.
the Knicks, Don Nelson back in 96, and I know we pressed for time, but Don Nelson back in 96 said that there's a potential for us to get Shaq for Ewing. And somehow, the front office got it back to Ewing. And that's why Don Nelson was fired. Because, there's a connection there. I don't know. But the bottom line is, yeah, Shaq, I'm not going for it. I'm not going for it.
Yeah, I was shocked. I was shocked, to be honest with you, because he looked at Ewing. It wasn't like after the fact when he went to, what was it, Orlando or Seattle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where he ended up
Mm-hmm.
playing for those other two teams. He was at Knickerbocker. So
Right.
Knicks, blue and orange, right? And to see that, I
100%.
figured if anything, he would support, because and this is to answer a different question you asked about how New Yorkers, jerseys feel about New Yorkers. I'll tell you one thing, as far as Knicks fan base, we have a very strong Knicks fan base here in New Jersey, always
It's a
rooting for the
fact.
Knicks. That's the
Yeah.
first time I want to say so. I want to compliment you on it. I never heard that phrase of the sixth borough. I like that.
That's a fact. No, it's a
That's nice.
fact.
But I also
100%, bro.
but also you have to keep in mind, New Yorkers know about this too, regardless of what's being said when they see this podcast. A lot of New Yorkers come right over the bridge, right to Jersey, right over the
That's
bridge, and
100%.
they settle in, they see what's going on, for whatever reasons. That goes for everybody. High profile people,
Mm-hmm.
you
Low
know,
profile. Yeah.
middle class, whatever. They come
Mm-hmm.
right over the bridge, right back to right over to Jersey, start a new life, and same thing likewise for us. Some of us find a way to come over to New York. They like the fast pace, right? They love
There
the
you
city.
go.
They love the
Yep.
vibe. So yeah, it
Yep.
goes both ways. Yeah, but
100%.
yeah.
100%, man. All right, man. So we'll move forward to the comment of the week, man. So, bam. I'm not sure if you have the image of the comment of the week, but I'll read it out
This is
nonetheless.
about size 9.
So, yes.
I-
So, size 9. Congrats to you, my brother. Salute the side. Hold on. Let me get the soundboard. Let me get this right, man. I got to give a big time salute to my man. Size 9, right? You've made the comment of the week once again, man. And, I appreciate you for putting out this content or these comments on top of my content so we could just expose it, right? So, size 9, he's a very interesting guy. I appreciate him commenting and stuff like that. But sometimes you're just wrong, man. You just flat out wrong. And then, you came up on my radar again. I had some really good comments, but when I saw this, I said we have to do it again. So this is what he said. And this post was about something with Mike Brown and it was about Coach Tibbs going to, Minnesota and doing his things, doing those things. He said, so this is what he said. And once again, you're wrong and didn't give this full thought. Tibbs brought the Celtics to a title with his defense and the most certainly beat the Lakers twice if Garnett never gets hurt. Now, as far as the Wolves, the team he turned around in the first place. So no, he is not visiting no ops. He is showing how much respect he actually has around basketball circles, NBA or college. So that was the comment, right? He's basically saying, Coach Tibbs has these relationships in these places. So, that's why he's going there, right? And he has the right to do that. Okay, so I have a question, size 9. I know you can't respond right now, but this is in direct reference to what you just said. So why didn't he go to Chicago? The place where he initially established himself, the place where he was coach of the year, 60 wins, had the MVP. Why didn't he go there? If it was just about, revisiting the past and connections, because we're not going to act like Minnesota ended on a positive note. We're not going to act like Minnesota ended on a positive note. Let's not play like that. Now, when he was with the Celtics, he was an assistant coach, right? I'm not sure who's still there from that staff. That was Doc Rivers. I don't know if anybody from the staff is still there. I mean, pretty much probably the people in the front office. Okay, he might know some people, but it's not like Doc Rivers is still there and he went to go see the guys that he was with, right? Or so when you're making these connections for Coach Tibbs, because he loves Coach Tibbs, by the way. Let me give you some backstory. He is a Coach Tibbs guy. He's disgruntled because Coach Tibbs was fired. And because of that, he doesn't like Mike Brown. So he's still to the end, the very end, he is going to defend Coach Tibbs. Okay? So I figured that I wanted to revisit this comment. If you have something you want to add to it, you can. But yeah, and I'm gonna read the other comment.
Oh, you want me to respond to that?
If you have anything, if not, we can move on. I can just read the other.
Listen, I appreciate his loyalty to Tibbs. Listen, if that's your coach, you know you have the right to say so. I did have a going back and forth with size 9, but before that, salute to size 9. Got
Salute
no
to
issues,
size
no
9.
problems with him. You know, he has his personal agendas that he needs to get out there. That's fine, but we can agree to disagree. I'm gonna say this. I don't know how many teams. What is it? 5 teams he's coached already? Chicago, Minnesota,
3.
Boston, Knicks.
3 as a head coach. Yeah.
3 as the head coach, right? Okay.
Yeah.
He only won 1 championship as a defensive
assistant.
coach, as an assistant.
Right.
Correct. So until he wins a championship as a head coach, then come back and talk to me. Aside from that, that's a very strong statement I'm saying, because you know what? That's the pinnacle right there. When you win that championship, then you can come out there, because you know what? He went through the Derrick Rose years. He wasn't, you know, he had a great team there. Butler, Noah, right?
Great teams.
Rose,
60
right?
wins. 60
Yeah,
wins.
I remember that. They were a tough team, but just like he was with the Knicks too. And guess what? They're all complaining now about being hurt, tired, beat up. That's all you hear about last season. Minutes high, right? But unfortunately, you know, and I think we went back and forth on this on the chat. Listen, the organization was tired of going back and forth with Tibbs. It's not just with the team. It was also with the organization. And when that was already set in stone, that was just a matter of time of his departure. When you're giving, obviously, issues to the organization, you're not going to last long. You got to be good to the house, man, if you still want to hang around. And that wasn't happening. So the end all be all was pretty much, you know what? The end of the season closing, what is it? The discussions that they have
Exit
with the
meetings.
players, exit meetings.
Yeah, the
and
exit. Yep.
whoever said what, I don't really care. It was said. That was kind of the icing on the cake. And I think they had the backing, as well as the people that were under Leon Rose kind of spoke their piece too as well. So this was all noticeable, I should say, by the organization. And, you know, bits and pieces were coming out from other sources. So with that being said, that was pretty much just a matter of time. Maybe if he would have gone past the Pacers into the finals, but I don't even think the Knicks were going to win that way anyway. My mindset was already set that this is just a matter of time. You're beating up you're playing the same song over and over and over. And like I said, and I said this before, Carlisle used his bench as well as his starters to just run the Knicks down and ran them off the court. It was a very predictable offense. I don't want to say nobody figured it out, but Carlisle did what he had to do. And, you know, we lost. We're out.
Yeah.
So
100%.
Yeah, it was time for a change. Let's put it that way. It was time for a change. But I respect Size 9 views. I hope he understands. But we move on.
Right. There you go. And then to respond to his second, this was for me, the objective Knicks fan. You claim you were objective, but nothing you said about Tibbs was objective. And in fact, it was judgmental. But hey, what do I know? First off, let me just say this, right? I am the objective fan. Part of the reason why he might be subscribed to the channel is because I was one of the few guys that stuck up for Tibbs. This was all before I knew the players felt the way they felt. Had I known the players felt that way, I would be like, good riddance. Because once I read the article, we did shows on it. I said, yo, players said this in front of the owner. He's out of here. There's no GM is going to choose a coach over the players. Mm-hmm. It could be Phil Jackson. Name whatever coach you want. There's no way a GM is going to choose Phil Jackson over Jordan. It's not happening. It will never happen. So he had to go. And like you said, he didn't win nothing, you know, and yeah, all the best to him. I supported him. But the same energy, the same analysis, the same way I go about breaking stuff down when I was bigging up Tibbs is the same way I'm allowed to change my mind once I get the evidence, because that's all I go by. Once I see the evidence, I'm going to change my mind. Perfect example, double big lineup. I'm still not a fan of it, but when I did my 10 keys to the 10 things I would like to see for this season, I said the double big lineup was in there. People lost their minds like, oh my God, you're changing. It's not that I'm changing. It's just that based off what I saw in the preseason, it was the best lineup. We never got to see Deuce like that. We never got to see Josh Hart. So when I see Coach Tibbs going to the ops, yes, they are the ops, the guys that we just beat in the playoffs, and now you're going to them to give them information so they can try to beat us. Yeah, we're going to call you out for that. We're going to be like, yeah, Tibbs, yeah, you feel some type of way. You're being petty. And that's that. Does he have the right to do it? Yes. Is he violating the terms of his contract? No. As long as he doesn't say anything about the Knicks, he's fine. He's going to get paid. As long as he doesn't become a head coach nowhere, he's fine. He's going to get paid.
Right.
And that's that. And we'll move on, man.
Can I just say
That's
something
the
real
comment
quick?
of the week. Yeah, go ahead.
Just as a message to size 9. Listen, I'm not a Thibodeau hater, but I will say that I respect him as one of the hardest working coaches out there, one of the most well-prepared coaches out there. You know, the word on the street is that he is like a hermit. He lives in a cave in those offices at MSG, constantly trying to figure out what to come up with game plans, to execute against the opponents. The problem is that he had those blinders on. And you know what? He
Yeah.
needed to take them off because that's all he saw was this tunnel vision of how to run the team. And when you run a team with only less than 8 players or less, I should say, you can't win games that way. And my biggest pet peeve was not developing the players in an 82 game season, that bench. And I felt those guys felt out of sync, out of the lineup, not motivated. And that
Right.
kind of showed in the playoffs though, because you know what? It wasn't prepared. Ball falling out of bounds, missing assignments where they're supposed to be at. That's from not playing in real game situations. So I
Right.
hope Size 9 understands that we're not coming from a bad place. We're just speaking facts on what we saw, how things kind of evolutionized throughout the years. And I caught that the past 2 years. And that was just kind of like, I saw this movie before. So it was like, I'm done with it. And it was just going to
Yeah.
be the repetitive thing. Like we all know what's going to happen. I like to see what I'm
Right.
seeing now. I'm just hoping that the Knicks kind of, get it together. That's all.
Right. Right. Nah, good stuff, man. And we'll end on some word on the street. Now, before we get to word on the street, I do have to take the time to introduce you to the channel membership. First off, I want to give a big time salute to all the channel members that rock with me now. I do appreciate all of you guys. Now, you should consider joining this YouTube channel because it comes with a lot of cool perks. The first thing you're going to get is access to the Knicks Tape Madness Discord server, which is a private members only server where you can extend the conversation with me. If you're feeling the content and you want to talk some more, look no further than getting inside of that Knicks Tape Madness Discord server. We talk about the Knicks 24/7. Not only that, we talk about all other sports, and we talk about the Jets, the Giants, the Yankees. Listen, it is a fully functioning 24/7 Discord where you can go in and express yourself on a wide range of topics. Next, we have, of course, every member on YouTube gets the loyalty members and badges. It's the best way I can describe, or it's the best way I can tell who you are. Anytime you comment on shows or you comment in the comments of past videos or polls or things of that nature, I will be able to respond right away because the gold, the green, the blue, the red, all of those stars stand out and all of the stars are the same to me. Of course, you get access to members only live chats anytime I do a 10 keys and I'm focused on the content and you want to also contribute. This is the best way to be a part of the show when I have it locked off exclusively for members only. I have a lot of members only content from the Unfiltered Thought to the Objective Fan Hoopses, which is me recording when I hoop. Plus, I do members only lives. Right now, we have the Fantasy League, the Knicks Tape Madness Cup, which is going down right now. And you don't want to miss out on more opportunities to be a part of things on the channel. especially for members. So all you have to do is click that join button and you will get access to these perks. Not to mention a discount on the merch and the discount on the 82 Nights a Basketball Fan Companion, Stat Tracker, and Journal. Not even to mention that. So it only makes sense. Why don't you go ahead, hit that join button, especially if you're a subscriber. I look forward to seeing you in the members only section. If you made it to this point in the podcast, salute to you. Sorry if we went over a little bit over the time, but I'm going to go straight into some of these posts that we did. And I'll start from here. So Karl-Anthony Towns just admitted he doesn't know his role on the team. We talked about that earlier. Knicks fans, does this concern you heading into the series? What say you? I am a little concerned. It's not anything serious. I think this could be a problem, or he will figure it out. Which choice would you go with?
I'm concerned.
Okay. I'll put you're a little concerned. So out of 251 votes, 20% say I'm a little concerned. 44% say it's not anything serious. 13% think this could be a problem. And 23% say he will figure it out. And I respect that. I think that he probably will figure it out. And it looks like they are working towards figuring it out. Then I asked everyone, Mr. Opening Day, where do you plan on watching the game? So then I got a picture of me when we was at the Garden. I said, so at the Garden, a watch party in the house. I was in the house. I know you was at a watch party, right?
Yeah, at a watch party, yeah.
So 89% of the people was in the house. 3% was at a watch party, and 4% was at the Garden. But Melo, I do realize that a lot of people like to watch the game with, other people. And Melo, matter of fact, salute to J-Tap. What was the most impressive aspect of last night's victory over the Cavaliers? So we got the first 6 minutes of the fourth quarter. OG Anunoby on both sides of the ball. The Knicks being plus 16 on the glass. What say you?
Repeat the first one again.
The first 6 minutes of the fourth quarter. That's when the bench guys with the three more guards was in there. Kolik, Clarkson.
Yeah,
and they was
I would say that was different. That was refreshing.
The first 6 minutes.
That and that we won, and the way we won, it was like
right.
It was like a coming out party. It was really exciting. So yeah, it was a combination of two things. Yeah.
Copy. So 264 votes. 22% said the first 6 minutes of the fourth quarter. 58% say OG on both sides of the ball. 19% said the plus 16 on the glass. I went with the plus 16 on the glass because we did it without Mitch. So that to me was pretty impressive against a Twin Tower team that killed us last year. Period. Not just on the back boards. They killed us just period. Totally. So Mitchell Robinson missed the second game of the season, and his injury status is still unclear. What do you think is really happening with Mitchell Robinson? 183 votes. So the first is he has a serious injury. 2, he's getting traded with a picture of Leon Rose on the phone, the famous picture of Leon Rose on the phone. And the third choice is a secret holdout for a new contract. What say you out of those three choices?
That's a tough one, man. That's a tough one.
You could go other too. There's an other option.
Yeah, it could be any of the above, man. It's
yeah.
I'm gonna do it. Come on, you ready? Look.
What?
I'm gonna do the.
Okay, all right. So I'm gonna put other. So 184 votes. 54% say he has a serious injury. It could be that. 21% say he's getting traded. 21% he's getting traded. I'm leaning towards that. I'm keeping it real. I'm leaning to as we go along and he's not playing, I'm beginning to think he's going to be traded. And then 13% say secret holdout for a new contract. And that's all for Word on the Street, man. So once again, thank you guys for rocking with us all the way to the end of the show. I'm here with the great Mellow Mike, 5-Star Knicks. Tell the people where they could find you, Mellow Mike.
Mellow Mike can be found on TikTok, 5-Star Knicks. The number 5, STARKNICKS, 5-Star Knicks on TikTok. And like I said, hopefully but surely I'll be on Instagram. Same name, 5-Star Knicks. No doubt.
No doubt, man. And by the way, I forgot to get the fantasy report. So for the Knicks Tape Madness Cup, I'm in first place though. I got the most vote. Like I might even salute the J-Tap. He was my competitor. I'm not even looking at him. I just want to dominate the league and win by. Let me see if I can give you guys the final score because I had all my guys. They got hyped, right? So Mike, I'm not sure if you know how fantasy work, right? So yesterday I only had 3 players, right, that played because everybody else was played today. So they got hype. So HRM hits me up. He said, "Yo, there's a new league. There's a new leader in the league." I said, "Oh yeah." He said, "Yeah, I caught you." I said, "Okay. Watch what's going to happen tomorrow. Do you realize what's going to happen tomorrow? I got Brunson. I got Giannis. I got Norm Powell. I got a whole squad of hitters. Like my squad is straight hitters, right? So so yeah, he caught me, right? So I wound up finishing with 1,639 points. I smashed J-Tap by like 400 points. And I'm leading the entire league in points right now. So, big time salute for me. Just to give you guys an update for the Knicks Tape Madness Cup, man. And I do appreciate you guys. Definitely go check out the 82 Nights, my sports fan companion, exclusively on thisweekinsidethenix.com. Once again, I appreciate you guys, all the channel members, all the subscribers. Continue to smash the like button. I will be back on Tuesday, tomorrow, for the Milwaukee game. Hopefully we win. So when you call up, we're not sad. So that's all, folks. And until next time, as always, let's go Knicks.